I remember being broke as a joke. I had no money at all in my bank account, poor. And that's when I heard the best advice ever. This advice actually helped me not only in my life, but also my business. And that advice was, why are you trying to start a business when you have no skill sets? And looking back at it, it's as clear as day and night. Why was I trying to start a marketing agency when I didn't understand marketing, sales, fulfillment, strategy, leadership? Why was I trying to get into trading when I had no money to trade with? I'm trying to get $1 to turn into $1 million. Why am I getting into e-commerce when I have no money for advertisements? It doesn't make sense. And I always wonder, like, with all these different business models, why is it not working for me? I spent 1.5 years trying to figure out e-commerce. I'm putting my little pennies and dollars into advertisements and website costs and software costs. And, you know, there was this man, he was worth $300 million. And I went out to dinner with him. He sat me down, and throughout the whole entire conversation, he said the same thing over and over and over again. He said, you need to get a cushion before you start a business. I said, what's the cushion? He said, well, Anthony, back in my day, the cushion was $10,000 a month. That allows you to be more comfortable. You can leverage that for your business. You have savings, and you're not having to worry about everything month by month, and allows you to work more creatively. Because imagine this, you're trying to start this business, you're trying to run the company, but you don't even have any money in your bank account. Are you able to actually grow your business in a mindset of abundance, or are you operating off of scarcity? You're just trying to make money quickly. That's not a time for someone to be running a business, is it? So he said it was $10,000 a month back in his day. He said today the new cushion is $20,000 a month. If you guys didn't know that the US dollar has gone down by 10%, the value of it, just at the top of 2025. So if you had $100,000 in your bank account, it's now worth only $90,000. The US dollar keeps on shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. People have less money, and the economy, in my own opinion, I don't think it's getting better anytime soon. You need to make a lot of money. That solves most issues out there. If you think of all your issues, most of them relate back to money. You and your girl are fighting. Maybe it's because you can't even provide for her. You can't even be the man that you want to be. Or maybe your parents are frustrated because they've invested a lot of money into you and you're still living at home with them. The cushion is $20,000 a month. Once you're at $20,000 a month, that unlocks a whole new world for you. Because now you're not operating in terms of, I need money for the very next month, or I got to take care of this. And it just unlocks everything. And these aren't my words. This is coming from a man worth $300 million. And I took his advice. I said, you know what? I'm going to put my pride and ego aside, because everybody always wants advice. Everybody's cool with advice, but not everybody takes action on the advice that they're given. And that's a degree of intelligence, because there's 3 different things, guys. There's information, there's knowledge, and there's wisdom. Information is just gathering knowledge, right? Information could be simply me just owning a book about high ticket sales. But if I never read the book, it's only information. I don't have the knowledge. Reading it is the knowledge. Now I've read the book, I know what I should be doing. Wisdom is actually applying your knowledge that you acquired. And when he was telling me about the cushion, at first I didn't have the knowledge about the cushion. When he told me about it, now I have the information and the knowledge. But me to actually implement what he was telling me to do, that was wisdom. And I applied that wisdom. I shut down everything that I was doing to focus on building up that cushion. And a lot of times people think that the only way to make $20,000 in a month is running a business. It's probably the hardest thing to do. Why would you even want to start a business when you could actually learn high ticket sales? Get really, really good at that as a skill set. Now you don't even have a capped potential. I got people working for me right now. They're 21 years old, making $30,000 a month, just hopping on Zoom and yapping. It's really not that hard. And a lot of these guys out here online, they try to make it all complex and like you have to do this certain authority hijack or something. Man, if you really look at those guys, are they even in high ticket sales themselves? Are they even running like a portfolio, or are they just a coach? How are you just a coach? Like, I don't get it. We're not going to get into all that, guys, but get a cushion, get some savings, right? You don't want to be working out of scarcity. And I remember when my cousin, he even told me to shut down my business too as well. And he said, Anthony, like, how do you plan on running a marketing agency when you don't understand marketing, sales, fulfillment, leadership, accounting? How are you planning on running a business? Oh man, this guy is right. What am I doing? Let me put my pride aside. Let me come work for you and learn everything. And he said, yeah, you can work for me, but I'm not gonna let you do marketing, but I can teach you sales. I said, sales? Like, you keep talking about sales, but I didn't understand what it was, because my viewpoint on sales was like going door knocking or being in the mall and trying to chase somebody down and give them something, or retail sales, like selling clothes and stuff. So I'm like, man, sales? All right, this is interesting. You're telling me I can make $20K a month doing sales? Like, what is this? And that's when I started shadowing him. He invited me to some different Zoom calls and Google Meets that he was taking. I saw him make $20,000 for himself the very first day when I was shadowing him. And then from there, he said, hey, you can take some of my calls for me. I said, shoot, I'm the type of guy. One thing that really helped me mindset wise was I don't even want to use this word, but like, I'm just not scared. So when he was like, you can take these calls, I was sure, man, I'll take it. I'll figure it out. My very first call that I got on was with a 7-figure e-commerce brand. And that's when I realized that I was a little bit nervous, because I didn't want to mess up. I didn't want to go back to my cousin and say, hey, these people had a bunch of money, but I didn't close the deal for you. What ended up happening was I realized that one of the biggest things for high ticket sales is conviction. I knew that my cousin and what he had to offer was amazing. I was completely convinced that he was the best of the best. This guy's worked with Rolls-Royce, Coca-Cola, all the large names. When I got on the call with that 7-figure business, I kept that in mind. So when I was talking to them, I had the most conviction in the world, and I reframed my mind. I was like, wait a minute, sales, this is me doing them a service. What am I nervous about? This is actually for them. The best thing that I can get out of this call is like a nice little commission. Don't get me wrong. He was paying me like 25% commissions, which was sweet. But I was keeping in mind, like, they're actually gonna have a much bigger upside compared to me. This brand, they're doing about 200K a month. I know my cousin can get them up to 500K a month. They're about to do a lot more than me. So I'm actually doing them a service. And I had all this conviction, and I reframed my mindset about sales and everything. And they ended up paying. I closed them on a 6-month package, 5K every month, 30K close, 25% commission. My very first day, man, I made like 7K commission off my very first close. I'm already almost halfway there to that 20K cushion that was talking about. And all I did was get on a Zoom and I yapped. That's all I did, literally. And everything just changed for me at that moment. I knew what was possible, so I went all in. At the time, I was still very ignorant, just transparently speaking. So I started reviewing my own sales calls. I didn't know much about how there was these sales coaches online and that there's sales books and all these philosophies and everything. So I spent the very first few months in high ticket sales learning for myself. I never learned from anybody else. I literally only learned for myself for months. And that wasn't on purpose. I just didn't know that sales training out there even existed. And then when I finally found out about it months later, I've already sold hundreds and hundreds of $1,000s online before I even knew about sales training. By the time I started looking into it and started getting trainings and stuff, that's when I got worse. I started applying all these weird tactics and stuff that people were talking about. Most of these coaches out there, they were selling some weird scam services. It was wild, wild west. I didn't like it. So I had to unlearn everything that I was being taught and trained. And I realized that a lot of my philosophies and stuff that I had to spend my time doing was almost 10 times better than these guys. Don't get me wrong, I'm very coachable. There's things that I did end up learning, but most of the time I spent time just unlearning. And some of these guys, what they teach out there, they just try to make it all complex and complicated. It's really, really weird. And most of it's illegal too. If you look into the FTC and compliance, a lot of these guys, what they teach and they train is illegal. So the number one person that I could learn from was actually myself, reviewing my own calls. And that's when I realized that I really liked doing this. And I found something that I genuinely found like a passion for it. And now I'm hitting my cushion too as well. But if I never got that opportunity, if I wasn't connected with my cousin, I would have never even gotten the game. I wish I had the right person helping me out in the beginning, because I would have went a lot faster. And I know what's coming up. High ticket sales, we're not even at the tip of this. It's still brand new. I got in this field 5 years ago, guys. 5 years ago, and now I've been able to use those same skill sets. I got my cushion, was able to start my own business, scaled up my own marketing agency to multiple 7 figures. Other businesses using the same exact skill sets. And now I'm running a partner studio where our clients right now are doing over $2 million a month in total every single month. And I'm leading their sales teams. I have managers, directors, but I didn't just start here. I started with getting the right skill sets. I didn't start a business. I used that same wisdom from that man worth $300 million. And this is what he told me, guys, that I wanted to share with you guys today. So if you're watching this right now and you've been thinking about starting your own business, I hope that you don't just use this as information and knowledge and you actually apply it for wisdom. Go get that cushion. Things are not getting cheaper at all, especially here in the States. And if you feel like these videos and what I've been telling you, and you feel like I can possibly help you, there's an application below. You can go ahead and fill it out and see if we're a good fit for each other. But the whole point of this channel It's just to provide you guys value. And I hope to see you guys on the next video.